Welcome, everybody. My name is Mike Brooks from audIT, and Mr. Matt Solomon is my guest today from audAgent. Welcome, Matt. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, no, excited to be here. I always kind of enjoy the live video ones, so this will be fun.
Yeah, and we're just going to do a real short live here today, just to kind of tease what's coming up. We've got a live webcast with audAgent with Matt on Wednesday, January 27th at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, called Five Proven Practical Steps to Close New Security Business. And you can register at audit4it.com/audAgent live. I'll leave that ticker going there so you can get to it, see what's going on. But Matt, wanted you to kind of tease what you're going to be covering on this webinar.
Yeah, so we're trying to hone in on some just very practical ways that MSPs can really, help sell their security. Now, some of this will lean towards some of our product offerings, but it's, a lot of it can be very general. So the first one does have to do with our dark web monitoring tool, which is, utilizing that live report to start a conversation and get your foot in the door. So, those emails and passwords that are being exposed on the dark web. So how to actually speak to customers and prospects around it. Leveraging a decline of service agreement, as all of these, big and scary things are happening in security. And a lot of times the end users think that they're covered under these things and, all that, without paying extra money and for these products and services. Well, if they're not willing to, jump into your security plus or whatever you're calling your security stack, I think you do need some coverage, right? Some, whether it's some type of legal coverage, so that it actually puts the onus back on them if an incident occurs. Another part is creating campaigns, and for us, it's specifically through Powered Services, which is our sales enablement portal. But again, that's applicable across all your vendors, depending on what vendor content's out there, really utilizing the content that your vendors are putting together so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel on all the marketing initiatives that you've got going on. Another thing we're going to talk about is just really hosting an event or becoming an expert in your network. So, a lot of obviously webinars, but kind of some of the best practices around doing that. And then finally, on our side, we have channel success managers. So taking advantage of your channel success manager, in some cases, to actually participate. So having us on as a subject matter expert, and again, there might be other vendors that you could leverage with that too. So again, even if you're not an audAgent partner, that's still something that you should be able to pull value out of. So, those are going to be the kind of the high level topic areas that we'll be covering on my end.
Cool. And I should mention that our audIT founder, Frank DiBenedetto, is going to be hosting this. I'll be there to man the question and answers, ask these guys questions live. But Frank's going to be kind of running this with Matt. And Frank brings a unique perspective because he's an MSP. He's a user of audAgent. So he's going to kind of add his perspective on how he's using it in his MSP. And this is going to be great. So Matt, I want to keep this quick, but why is it important that MSPs attend this?
Well, obviously security was a massive topic in 2020, and it's going to continue to be one of the biggest topics in 2021. I mean, with all the work from home environment, the remote work environment, you're seeing phishing attacks have increased, I think 600% since COVID. And so it's just important that your customers, and it's actually a unique time where customers are actually reaching out to their MSPs to talk about security. So we know that they actually are wanting to have these conversations. And I think the big area that MSPs miss is how to actually talk about security. So, I think if anybody out there is struggling to really discuss security at a level that, an end user will understand, that's why you would want to show up, because we're going to really talk about some strategies around that.
Cool. And if you guys can't make it for any reason, make sure to register anyway, because we will have that recording available to everybody who registers at audit4it.com/audAgent live. And Matt, before we go, if you could just tell everybody what's new and exciting at audAgent that folks should know about.
Yeah, so I mean, really the latest thing, we just actually did 2 webinars, kind of different time zones around the world. We just had our Bullfish ID relaunch, and Bullfish ID is phishing simulation and security awareness training. So something that really should absolutely be part of any MSP's security stack at this point. But some of the new things that we came out with, email customization. So, your audience and your end users better, than anybody else. So if you can actually now create your own phishing emails. You can take some of the ones we already have as a template, so you're 90% of the way done, but especially like regional specific and, different countries, it's obviously great to be able to do it in your own languages. Phishing emails with attachments, that actually came straight from our MSPs. They wanted to be able to put attachments. Attachments are really some of the most dangerous components of a phishing email, because it's one thing when you click on a regular phishing email, usually it's asking you to submit credentials. So you really have to take that second step for it to really do damage. When you click on an attachment, I mean, that could instantly own your computer. And so, having that ability to now ingest that into our phishing simulations so that they're learning that, hey, we shouldn't be clicking on those. And then the other big, just massive feature is we've actually now created a fully a new portal for Bullfish ID outside of the dark web ID side of it, so that end users will they'll be able to white label it for their end users, so they can put their company's logos in there. And so it's kind of its own portal for the employees of the MSP's customers to be able to go and utilize.
Cool. Well, I appreciate it, Matt. I'm looking forward to it. And everybody out there, I've seen you speak. I can't count the times I've seen you speak and been on webinars with you and at live events. And every time I hear you, I learn something new. And it's probably the nature of what you do. There's always something new happening. So I expect by next week, this time, you'll probably have something new going on. So make sure to go over here, auditforit.com/IDAgentLive. Get registered for this. Matt, thank you for jumping on for this real quick broadcast. And I'm looking forward to talking to you Wednesday, January 27th at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Absolutely. See you next week.